No, I'm recording. Yeah, I am. I hope
December had only just arrived when it happened. I was a mere 10 years of age, still naive as to what awaited me in the outside world. Every year, at the start of December, when the snow began to fall and the air froze, my family and I would dash out into the fresh morning snow, spending the entire weekend building snowmen, snow forts, and having snowball fights. But one year, we were met with a ghastly occurrence that forever changed.
Hey. Real talk. Snowball fights can be dangerous as hell. You ever been in a snowball fight? Them clutches hurt.
Till we saw Christmas. The Friday that came before the first weekend of December, my family and I were all raving about our excitement towards the snow that was to come the next day, and our plans for what we were going to do in it. I went to bed soon after, brimming with anticipation, so much so that I could hardly sleep. I spent that night staring out of my window as a blanket of white covered it, drooling down the glass plane. Throughout the silence, I could make out the extremely faint noise of shuffling coming from outside, even the mild crunching of snow below boots. I wouldn't be surprised if people were already out as the snow fell, lavishing in it before the morning came out. What I found slightly unnerving was that the sound seemed to be coming from my garden. I remember it was at this point that my eyes began to close, and I was quick to fall into a great deep slumber soon after. The next morning I leapt out of bed, throwing open the wardrobe and piling on all the clothes I could find, preparing myself for the adventure outside. I could hear my sister and father doing the same, and I was sure my mother would join us.
So, hold on now. You just gonna... You just gonna go on about the next day? Like nothing in, like that shit you heard last night wasn't crazy, wasn't club. That's like you getting into like a 500 car accident and you got the worst. Your car looked the worst out of all 500 cars that was in the accident. Your car looked the worst. And you get out, talking about, oh man, oh that shit, I really cracked my neck. We good. I'm ready for round 2. I'm glad.
After a line, of course. Once ready, we all hurried down the stairs, bursting into the kitchen, grabbing the set of keys that opened the back door. As the keys twisted, I could already feel the cold gripping onto me, but the adrenaline kept it at bay. The door swung open. There was no snow, only weak little clumps dotted around the drenched grass. I could feel my heart sink, as well as that of my father and sister.
No snow, eh? It's alright. Let's go put on a film instead. I'm sure there'll be more to come later.
What if what you heard last night was somebody getting the majority of the snow from your yard? You know? What if you heard all this shit going on and you just didn't say nothing until your father was like, do you know what's going on? And you be like, you know, Dad, I've been hearing some shit the last couple of nights, to be honest. Like the last 2 weeks, I've been hearing some stuff, but I ain't think nothing of it. Your dad looking at you like, bitch, you couldn't say nothing the first time you heard it.
My father was extremely optimistic for the circumstances, but as they walked off with weighted steps, it looked like lines, like the snow had been removed systematically.
Oh shit.
But by who? I didn't think it was worth the trouble to think about, so I closed the door and joined my family for a movie. That night, the same routine played out. I laid in bed.
I love when I be guessing shit and it happens. I don't know what I said is true, but like it's pretty spot on. And the fact that it says 3 true Christmas horror stories, Jesus.
Watching as faint drops of snow drizzle from above, severing my vision from the outside world. That night, the same routine played out. Simultaneously, I was able to hear the sound of crunching grow louder and louder from outside. I crept out of my bed to look out the window, but the snow was too thick to see further than a couple of meters. I went back to bed, crossing my fingers, begging for the snow to remain. I slumped on my winter wear and joined my family as we walked down the stairs, making our way over to the back door, with a general air of fatigue hanging over us all. Once again, the door creaked open.
How about y'all peek through the window before wasting y'all time? Getting dressed, getting yourself together and making all that effort to go outside. You open the door and shit outside. How about y'all just peek through the window and be like, nope, let's not, thank God we didn't waste our time.
Only to reveal yet again, no snow, only subtle lines in the soaking wet grass. My father said the same thing as before, but I couldn't hear him. I was far too concerned with the lined grass. Dad, why are there lines in the grass?
Probably just from how the snow melted. But cheer up. Another movie day never hurt anyone.
Once again with the optimism. I wasn't entirely convinced, but what else was there to do? And with that, we all wandered drearily over to the sofa and spent the rest of the day watching movies. Then came the evening. It was pitch black outside when I heard a noise rustling about in the garden. I looked at my family, seeing if any of them heard it. Until all of a sudden, a loud bang hit the window. Alarmed, we all leapt up out of our skins. My sister began to cry, and my mother and father looked frantically at one another, then towards the circle of snow dripping from the window.
I would have been like, sis, the fuck you crying for? Get your shit together, come on, and let's get the hell out of here. Mom, Dad, y'all know what to do.
Father motioned for my mother to grab my sister and move to the back end of the living room. He then made his way over towards the window, searching for the source of the noise. He came closer and closer until his nose was practically up against the window, trying to peer out into the thick darkness. His expression dropped. Following me, I peered out the window next to him, and my eyes met with the dark figure outside.
Jesus.
I stopped, feeling my blood freezing out of fear. My father beckoned for me to step back, to which I obliged opened the window.
Hey, what the hell do you think you're doing? We got kids in here! Leave now, I'll call the police!
My dad shouted, waving his phone around. The man just stood there, holding a snowball in his right hand, grinning wildly. My father closed the window, shutting it tightly, dialing the police as he did so whilst I stared at the man, feeling my eyes welling up with fear. He slowly raised his left hand and pointed a finger. First towards me, then towards him. As we waited for the police, the man refused to leave. Instead, he remained standing there, grinning. Eventually, the police entered the house, but by the time they went out, he was gone.
Hey, son, cluck you, because why didn't... I could have went to the front door myself. You should have just stayed right where you are and kept your eye on his mother clucker and alert me at any movements that he does. Because that's crazy. That's crazy. What'll it take? A minute for you to get to the door? Less than that? God damn.
My father and I went out there with them, and after an extremely short search, the true horror became clear. Behind the shed, the only thing in the garden was a man-made igloo.
Oh my God.
This was where the snow had gone. This man had been just meters away.
How did y'all miss that? Cluck y'all. That big ass igloo.
From us for the last 2 nights. He may have left for now, but there was no telling what he was waiting here for. What if we had gone out there? Every year since, we checked the entire garden in case he returns. We weren't safe. Christmas is now rotten with fear.
That sucks.
Christmas is usually a time of peace and joy, but sometimes it's a time when the strangest and most horrific things can happen.
Yeah! AKA Cluckness. I've been going to the gym lately. Can y'all tell Hold on. You see the chest? Hold on. You see the traps? Hold on. Look at that. Come on now. You see it? Hold on.
Stories from when I was a kid. At that time, I couldn't defend myself.
Oh.
I couldn't run away from home or call the police.
Oh.
At that time, I could only depend on my parents to protect me.
That sucks.
The
Oh.
moment they couldn't do it, I came face to face with death
Why they couldn't do it?
and almost didn't survive to tell the story.
Oh.
Truth be told, Christmas didn't used to be my favorite holiday. Make no mistake, I enjoyed the presents, the food, and the arrival of Santa Claus. But since
Arrival of Santa Claus, waiting on your arrival of Santa Claus is crazy. You know I have some youngins out there that's watching me, and I'm just gonna say it: Santa Claus is not real. Oh my God! Like, Santa Claus is. I say Santa Claus is not real, but like, what if he is? But I mean, it's technically it's not. It's physically it's impossible. It's impossible to deliver Christmas presents to everybody, and I get not even in one night, because there's a lot of different time zones. You know, some of these time zones between zones is like I live on the East Coast, and it's like it's 5:30 right now, p.m. But like in Japan, I don't know. It could be fucking 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't know. That's crazy. I don't even know how he would do that, to be honest. Jesus Christ. So for you to wait on Cluck Claus?
the whole family was quite young, and my parents had me when they were very young. I was the only boy in the family, except for my oldest aunt who had a baby.
Y'all just wasting shit. Because why did y'all set up 3 more plates? Ugh.
This was really very boring.
That food looks nasty as shit. He's looking at it like, what the hell is this?
Since the party where the children were supposed to enjoy the most turned into a boring family dinner for adults. After we all gathered at the table to eat, I went to the dining room to play alone. And that's when it all started. At that moment, I thought maybe I had seen too many horror movies, but I could have sworn I saw someone through the window. As if a
Oh, shit!
I approached the window to get a better look, but I couldn't see anything. I thought maybe it was my imagination. Behind the window was a man with a terrifying demon mask.
I thought that was like Mask. Like the movie Mask, where Jim Carrey puts on the green mask and turns. I thought that looks like kind of that.
The mask had a huge grin on it. From behind the window, the man tapped on it slowly and pointed to the front door. As a kid, my first impulse was to walk away slowly. The man turned his head in disappointment. After that, he left the window and went in the direction of the front door. A few seconds later, someone started banging on it.
That must be Henry with the beer. I'll go get it.
Dad, don't open it! It's not Uncle Henry! It's a man in a demon mask!
Hey, yo, for anybody, I thought about this when I first heard the story. When I heard the first story, I watched the YouTube channel Horror Shorts Party, but I only upload my reactions to Patreon because they don't want me to react to the videos on YouTube. But for anybody that watches Horror Shorts Party, is this the same voice that they be using sometimes in their videos? It sounds very familiar.
What are you talking about? Have you lost your mind, Joshua? It's your uncle.
There was just a man at the window with the demon mask. I swear it's not Uncle Henry.
Nah, because there was no peephole a few scenes ago. That's crazy. Where that peephole come from?
Hesitantly, my dad went to the door and looked through the peephole. After doing so, he raised his head and opened the door.
Fuck out of here! Hey, Henry! watch your ass like a hawk. A hawk! You say something clucked. You do something clucked. You breathe, blink, walk, take a shit in a cluck way. That's your ass. Either that's your ass or I'm hauling ass. Cluck out of here.
My first instinct was to run away, but I stopped when I saw a familiar face. It was my Uncle Henry, just like my dad said.
Nah.
Josh just mistook you for a demon.
I knew I shouldn't have got that haircut. Dad, I'm serious. There was a man with a mask in the window.
Josh, I know you're bored, but you can't scare adults like that.
What if Henry is really like, the one that was in the mask? Either he was the one that was in the mask, or what if Henry is working with the one that was in the mask?
You always do that.
I'm serious this time, I swear! Without listening to me anymore, my dad had gone back to the kitchen with my uncle to put the beer away. I don't know how much I could blame him for not believing me. As a kid, I used to make up imaginary friends. And that night, my dad was a little too drunk. I was very scared of this man. So I decided to continue playing in my room, going upstairs. Just in case, I locked the door with a chair. I spent a few minutes bored, knowing that at midnight my parents would come to pick me up to watch the fireworks. But I started to fall asleep. I didn't think I could stay awake a minute longer.
Josh, come down! It's already midnight. They're shooting fireworks.
Oh my God.
From my bedroom window overlooking the courtyard, I could see beautiful fireworks covering the whole sky. I stared out my window. My family was already outside, watching the huge amount of lights in the sky. Suddenly, someone started banging on my door. Coming! I was about to open it when I realized something. I looked out the window again. There's Mom, Dad.
Come on, my guy. You're invited to the cookhouse because you got your head on straight. Come on with it. Everybody here, this scene right here, everybody club.
The uncles, grandparents, they're all downstairs. Then, who's banging at the door?
Kid, could you open the door for me, please?
Oh my God.
I just want to talk.
It's you!
I can't tell if this is real or his imagination.
The guy with the mask! Get out of here, I'll tell my parents!
Oh, you don't want to do that. I'll be very angry.
Desperate, I opened the window and shouted to my parents. Dad! Mom! Help! There's someone trying to get in my room! At that moment, my parents got scared and tried to open the backyard door. But they couldn't do it. It was locked.
Oh, shit.
Someone locked it from the inside. They started kicking it in desperation. Meanwhile, the voice behind me got louder.
If you don't get a damn rock or something to bust a window open, what the hell are you doing?
Louder.
Didn't you hear me? I told you I would be angry!
Get out of here! I'm not opening it!
Oh, come on, Josh. You like where I'm taking you?
Oh.
It's full of children's corpses you can play with. Josh, you know what I did to them all? I strangled them. I did the same thing I'm going to do to you. I squeezed their necks with my huge hands and watched their lives go.
While he was saying this, the man with the mask was about to break the door. I saw the wood begin to break little by little. It wouldn't resist much longer. I looked out the window again. My whole family was still trying to break into the house any way they could. My father grabbed a rock and threw it at the window outside, breaking it.
That took you long enough.
At that moment, the pounding in my room stopped. I looked back at the door. There was no one trying to break it, but someone was still behind it.
You know, Joshua, I've been watching you for weeks. When you get out of school, when you hang out at your friend Steven's house, when you go swimming. I could kill you whenever I want. I just wanted to do it at Christmas, to make it special. like I did with the other boys.
Oh my God.
While the man was talking, I heard my dad come in through the broken window and shout from below.
Josh! Next time I see you, little boy, I'll make sure it's not special. You're going to suffer a lot.
The voice was gone.
He said that this was he used to make up, or he made up friends in his head. Imaginary friends. Hey, shout out to that cartoon show. Was it Foster Home for Imaginary Friends? Shouts out to that show. I hope he's not. He's either making this up in his head, which is weird because the door was locked, or that was a real person.
Seconds later, my father came up the stairs and into my room. A few seconds later, my mother and my aunt and my uncle came in. This time, no one doubted my story.
The whole time, though, I would look at Uncle Henry, because he was outside with old dude with the mask. I was like, hug my dad. Just eyeballing the hell out of him.
Saw how someone tried to force my door open. When the police arrived, I listened as my father told them everything that had happened. At that moment, the psychopath not only took advantage of the fireworks to get in, but locked the door from the inside. After hearing the story, the cops assumed that everything was planned for me to stay in the house with them. All he had to do was watch us and wait for the moment to strike. And that's exactly what happened. After that, I didn't leave the house for weeks.
Damn.
There was always someone with me.
Weeks?
And the police were always around. One night in February, the police came to my house telling me
Johnny Bravo looking at it.
they had caught the man. He called himself the Grinch. And as he told me, he was guilty of many disappearances of children my age, whose bodies turned up buried in his yard. The motive for the killings? He just wanted to make a name for himself, and thought there'd be nothing more shocking than killing children. Nothing was the same from that day on. Many years later, I still go to the psychiatrist because of that man. Every time I sleep, I dream about what would have happened if I hadn't locked the door to my room. I dream of him hanging me as promised. I dream that I'm a boy again and he comes looking for me at my school. I dream that once again, I'm helpless. He may be condemned to life in prison, but at the same time, he is still with me, and I feel that he always will be.
I did not know that was a Grinch.
I'm honestly not sure what I was thinking when I signed up for an anonymous Secret Santa program online. I was bored and looked.
What? Alright, I heard about Secret Santa with family members, friends, co-workers. But you doing that shit online? It's like online? Like with strangers?
After a nasty breakup, and I desperately wanted someone to seek me out, to think of me. In retrospect, maybe I should have just tried online dating. Still, all I wanted was a gift. A single, heartwarming little bundle of joy. Gosh, even thinking that makes me roll my eyes. I've never been the sappy kind, but I just wanted to be cared for, just once in my life. Looks like that was far too much to ask for. I sighed, tapping the side of the small black box anxiously as I peered into it once more. Maybe its contents would be replaced by something more favorable, more normal, perhaps. Maybe I was just going crazy, and the present I got was completely normal. No matter how many times I looked away and back, the contents of the box remained exactly the same. What the? Pictures of me from when I was still married to my ex right up until now. Some were very recent. On one, I was decorating the Christmas tree in my cheesy patterned pajamas. But the thing was, something didn't quite add up. There were pictures where I knew there was no one in the house with me when they were taken. A few where I was lounging on the couch, face tear-stained, hair messy, an awful sight, really. But there were photos where I was different. On some, I was smiling happily, staring nearly into the camera. On others, I was sleeping peacefully, I wanted to gag. Was this my mother pulling some wild prank on me? I'd fallen out with her a few years ago, roughly when I divorced my ex. She felt like I'd given up on a comfortable life because I didn't want to stay with that jerk, because I shook my head. My ex was the past, and I really needed to start thinking about him. He wasn't the reason why I was so distressed at the moment, after all. Maybe it was him? Maybe he's trying to force me to run back to his open arms, terrified? I mumbled to myself mostly, some of my words slurred together. My thoughts felt jumbled and body heavy, though it was likely due to the socks still barely allowing me to think clearly. Pat has moved on from me ages ago. Heck, we divorced because he moved on while we were still together.
Damn!
Stupid cheater. But then, what was going on? No letter came with the photos, though they were all dated. On most of them, the ink was a bit smudged, as if they'd been pocketed quickly. That didn't really give me any better idea of the photographer behind them, but it felt a bit odd. Who are you kidding, girl? Whoever took these pictures is a lunatic, with or without the ink smudges. And yet, I felt just as crazy as I looked through them again and again, desperately trying to look for a signature, a name, or just anything. I found nothing. But then, it dawned on me. The website I'd signed up for was supposed to let me know where my present came from once I opened it. Ha! Looks like whoever they are, they won't stay anonymous for long. I'll just call the cops in. I said that perhaps a touch too haughtily. Half of my sentence was caught in my throat, silenced by the familiar thud of the main door being closed. Of course, I was so busy trying to comprehend the situation that I'd forgotten one important detail. Whoever had taken these photos had access to my house. After all, most of them looked like they'd been taken from inside the house. Sure, maybe they'd been standing outside on something, perhaps straight behind the windows in that one spot that never got dusty, but there had to be some angles they couldn't get from there. Who's there? My voice sounded a lot raspier, a lot more scared suddenly. I stood up on shaky legs, bounding towards my bedroom's white wood.
I remember like Adidas. I'm talking to like my Adidas protection. Adidas. Do a full sweep of this house. And within a 6-mile radius of this house. Thank you. You got something? Alright.
Door to shut it before
Hey, don't worry. It's just your Secret Santa.
a painfully familiar voice made me swallow hard.
Huh.
Pat.
Clucky swallowing.
But why? It made sense though. I don't think I ever asked him to give his key back when he left. My attorney urged me to do so, to communicate with him, but I refused. There was no way I could talk to him after all he'd done to me. After that, he abandoned me at my weakest. And yet,
Surprise!
the man whose voice I used to adore cheered. He sounded like he was much closer now, sneaking up the stairs like the cat we used to have.
He looked
The
crazy.
cat that he threw out on the streets because she was too loud.
Damn.
Your mother told me that you were lonely. She's been asking some friends of yours to keep an eye on you, and well, it's clear that you never quite bounced back. I felt guilty, so I'm here to make things right, honey.
Why did I almost believe him for a second there? I trembled, pushing against the wall. He knew where he'd find me, of course, so I knew hiding was useless, but I felt desperate for that upper hand just for a second. He'd taken so much from me before, and he was suddenly back, destroying the one nice thing I'd wanted to do so badly. My only wish. I shook my head. No, he wasn't gonna do it. I had to. I had to do something.
Don't kill him. You don't kill him?
A shaky breath nearly got caught in my lungs when 3 quick knocks sounded on the bedroom door. It used to be familiar. It used to be our thing, just knocking on random surfaces to announce our arrivals or to get each other's attention, but it sounded threatening. It felt like if I allowed him in, something terrible would happen. I didn't realize I opened the window until I was standing in front of it, the merciless winter wind hitting me in the face every few seconds. It was so, so cold, and I was up quite high.
Oh shit!
I didn't care. I wanted the one way out.
Wait, honey, you need to...
I stood in the window for a few seconds, crossing my fingers that I'd be fine. Just like the cat I'd loved once, I thought I would land on my feet, though the ground was covered in ice. I didn't.
Oh shit. God damn. You just gonna end it like that? Damn. Hey man, if you a hoe, be a hoe. If you a faithful hoe, then be a faithful hoe. If you want to settle down, then settle down. If you want to play games, then play games. But what I say? But whatever you do in any relationship, let it be known about your intentions in the beginning. Let whoever you messing with know, hey, I'm a hoe. Let whoever you messing with in the beginning, hey, I like to play games. You know. I want this to be like a one-night stand. You know? I just want to have sex without no feelings. You know? Can we be friends with benefits? Can you be my girlfriend? Like, can you be my wife? Can you be the mother of my children? Can you be my babysitter? Like, let it be known. Because of shit like that. God damn. I can't imagine you loving some after fart. Oh. 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 Oh, shit. There we go. All right. Excuse me. I can't imagine being with somebody for like, oh, that stink. Hey, fuck. I can't imagine being with somebody for like so long and then you cheated. Or you just up and left without feeling nothing. It doesn't just affect you. Like, do you know the effect that has on people? She clocked herself up to the max because of your ass. Jesus Christ. God damn. Ugh. Keep it cool, keep it classy, and I love you. Stay happy. My family.